Afternoon, all friends. Let me clarify amongst busy practice to create awareness about environmental issues is not only a passion, but I find it a duty too. So, in view of adolescence conference, there are environmental risk factors for the youth. So, the topic is act local and think global. Now, environmental risks, they are rising globally, but we are more worried for the youth because till now the children and infants effects have been observed, studied in detail as far as environmental damage is concerned, but impact of polluted environment on adolescents is lesser known. Now, local actions can have global impacts when multiplied across communities, and our aim is to empower youth. Ultimately, the purpose of every session, be it a skit, be it a lecture, purpose is to empower our youth to recognize risk and act sustainably. So why focus on youth? The question comes in mind. Because of demographic strength. Now if we look at our own Prime Minister also says that the country is now going UR. So all over world, the number of youths, they are increasing. And they are more vulnerable due to higher exposure to pollution, unsafe water, and we'll see the other reasons also. Plus there is a future impacts because today's risk will be reflected in tomorrow's opportunities. And youths are not just victims, but if properly conveyed, then they could be good agents of change too. So if you read the newspapers or see the news lines in TV, then majority of the news now are related to climate change. In fact, on page number 1, first page, there were never news of environment, but now at least 1/3 of the news are related to climate change effect. So be it a rising temperature, extreme weather events, air pollution, 90% of the world breathes unsafe air, just imagine. And if there is a water scarcity, then also it produces related problems like hygiene, affecting health and affecting food production. Plastic pollution is a different menace. In fact, it requires a separate session. And now one added problem is plastic burning. So the oceans are filled with microplastics, and it is said that in 2050 there would be more plastic than fish in the ocean. And there is a biodiversity loss. See, we are all connected, one health, be it plant, be it animals, trees, or human beings. We are all interconnected with the planet. So the planet is made up of diverse people. So if there is a loss of biodiversity, then it will be reflected. Again, it's a separate topic that the underlying soil where we are right now at Crown Plaza, underlying this Crown Plaza, there is a land and there is a biodiverse organism. So that is also a separate topic. So the environmental issues are local, like urbanization. Everyone wants to go from village to the cities. So the related increased vehicle emissions and waste, plus they are working haphazardly in an industrial setup. So the industrial waste is being released into soil and water, contaminating it. And there is a deforestation. It is the greed of human being, either in search of agriculture or industries or some other activities, but we are cutting the trees, and the forests, they are the lungs of this planet. And there is a groundwater depletion, because when I was a child, I used to see water in well at 10 or 5 feet depth. Now it is being depleted. So there is insufficient and unsafe water. And plus there is unplanned construction. Every monsoon, all major cities, they witness the flooding, etc. Because why? Because there is a haphazard construction. So the adolescents and the children both, they are affected by two environments. Which are these two? One is physical environment and second is social environment. Now all of us, we are in Ahmedabad. So this is a macro environment. So macro environment is practically common to all the adolescents. But the micro environment, right now we are in Crown Plaza, our friend is in some different society, third friend is some different area in the mall. So this particular atmosphere, which is known as micro, it is unique for each adolescent, because every adolescent lives in a different setup. So be it a particular type of school or mall or house. So they have a different type of exposures. Now, adolescents, they have a unique features. We are talking about effect of environment pollution on adolescents because they are not simple adults or they are grown-up children. They have a environmental exposures which could be related to occupational hazards because children, they are working nowadays. So if a 10 years old, 12 years old, he is working in an industry, then his lungs are exposed. Suppose if he is working for waste collection, then waste segregation, suppose, then he is exposed to different type of hazards. Then there are target organ susceptibility, like lung, the lung functions are maturing. So during this time, if there is a damage, suppose in form of toxic inhalation, then the effects is tremendously harmful. Plus the endocrine disruptors. There are so many chemicals. If they go in the body, then the adolescent body is being developed. It is in the final stages of maturation. So the endocrine disruptors are recognized as hormones and they play havoc. So there could be a precocious puberty or early puberty. And hepatic metabolic pathway affecting the cholesterol and steroid hormone pathway is vulnerable to changes due to rapid growth and differentiation. So there could be either protein energy malnutrition or there could be micronutrient deficiencies. And plus psychological changes which we saw in the last skit, and there is a risk-taking behavior. So recently they gain freedom from their parents and authority, so they feel themselves free and they venture more frequently. एक बार बाहर निकलते तो रात को 12 बजे, 1 बजे, 2 बजे आते, and they are not protected, so they are more vulnerable to the exposures. And moreover, they select an atmosphere, like they will go to the pub. So pub is full of smokes and so many chemicals, etc. they consume. So they don't have that discretion that whether this particular atmosphere is damaging or not. And they are likely to hang out more in the afternoon. Now, why afternoons are problematic? Because the ozone level is maximum during afternoon. So it further damages them. Plus the adolescent brain is vulnerable. There is a high risk taking and experimentation. Plus dopamine, they require frequent kicks. So particularly such type of dopamine receptor density changes through late adolescence and making them more craving for frequent kicks, which could be either from the screen time or could be from the substance abuse. And nowadays, in fact, geriatric age group also, they are online for us. So obviously adolescents are, and they actively, there is an involvement in the social media, because as she said, children or adolescents, even nowadays children also, they have to have their account in social media, be it Instagram or Facebook. So they are always worried, they are always comparing themselves. Plus they are risk taking, so they easily can become prey to the dark web. And the related nuisances like catfishing, identity, the theft, morphing, exposure to adult content, and related orthopedic issues also due to their continuous postures. So it could be either cervical spondylosis or a digital thumb or so, and related mental health issues. Till 2-3 p.m. even one of my patient, he told me that uncle आपने देखा मेरा photo मैंने गाड़ी के साथ रखा है, it has got 75 likes. So I asked him that how if it had no like. Then he was literally baffled. He said नहीं हो ही नहीं सकता, अभी मेरा पिछला like मेरा बढ़ता जा रहा है now. So, but 75, he was not satisfied. He said that last like was 117. So continuously he is looking for that figure if it has crossed or not. ये कहाँ से निकालते बीच वाला? So they need education. Now environmental education in schools and colleges, nowadays the thrust is being given, but it should be increased. Campaigns and workshops on climate friendly practices. Eco clubs and youth forums promoting sustainable activities. These are all need of the hour. And training programs in renewable energy, waste management and conservation. There is a role of technology because we all are media savvy. So there should be digital awareness, social media campaigns for sustainability. Rather than posting your selfie or any of your travel picture, if you post once in a while such type of post related to awareness, then that would be a great service. Then there is a renewable energy like adaptation of solar, wind and bioenergy. These are all doable things. AI and data tools like tracking pollution, monitor deforestation, how it helps, because if there is a bad AQI, then you can guide your children accordingly not to venture out. 5 minutes?
8 minutes.
Okay.
8 minutes.
Then green innovations in form of eco-friendly packaging, electric vehicles, etc. Similarly, community participation can also be done, like youth-led projects like tree plantation, clean drives, water harvesting, collaboration with NGOs and civic bodies, encouraging public participation in sustainable city planning, and linking traditional knowledge with modern solutions. Similarly, government can also do by implementing different type of policies like Clean India, Mission, Swachh Bharat, what we are already doing. There could be energy transition from traditional to solar, water conservation, which our government is doing in form of Jal Shakti Abhiyan. These are all list of environmental acts. And there are global movements nowadays, like Fridays for Future, UN climate summits, global youth climate networks, local youth voices. You can search the net and can see such type of this thing. And there are sustainable lifestyle choices like using eco-friendly transport, reduce, reuse, recycle, green diets, conscious consumerism, and collaboration and networking, like partnership between schools, universities, and NGOs, creating youth networks, etc. Now, as a pediatrician, what we can do, we should take a detailed environmental history so that if there is any damage from environment, we can come to know. We should influence the local community leaders. So we should spread the awareness on social media, as I said, and spread awareness among other health professionals and child advocacy groups, what we are doing right now. So adolescents are in a unique stage of development, making them vulnerable to environmental hazards. Adolescent growth spurts and hormonal changes add to the impacts of hazards and multi-organ involvement. Adolescent exposure to the digital environment has added to their risk already, which was existing. Major stakeholders are involved in national and international levels, and actions are being undertaken to protect adolescent health. However, pediatricians, we, apart from being custodian of their health, need to play a major role in asking an environmental history and taking action to prevent the exposure to environmental hazards and contribute to adolescent well-being. These are all future areas that recognize adolescents and their vulnerability. There should be research to analyze and find hazards unique to adolescents, identify exposure periods and study the impact on adolescents, consider adolescents' unique requirement, and evaluate the potential contribution of immunotoxicants and neurotoxicants to health problems during adolescence. So concluding, local actions create ripples that lead to global change. Youth must be empowered with knowledge, skills, and resources. Collaboration between youth community, government, and global network is vital. And by acting today, we secure a sustainable and healthier tomorrow. Thank you so much for patiently listening. Thank you.